How's it going, everyone? Shifty here, and I'm back with another easy Legend Lost Sector guide. Today I've got for you the K1 Communion Legend Lost Sector on the moon. For those of you who are regulars on my channel, you should be familiar with the fact that my easy guides involve simple loadouts that are easily obtainable by most people. I also don't use specialty mods like Warmind Cell or Charged with Light mods. My goal for these easy guides is to make Legend Lost sectors as accessible as possible to as many players as possible. I also offer live commentary along the way to give you some tips. Before I get into my loadout for this one, if you end up enjoying the video, make sure to hit that like button, and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. Now in this video I'm going to show you a full run on a Warlock, then I'm going to show you just the boss fight on a Titan and a Hunter. Alright, moving on to my setup for the video. On each class I used a Void subclass. For my Warlock run I used Top Tree Voidwalker. For my Titan I used Middle Tree Sentinel. And for my Hunter I used Top Tree Night Stalker. As for my weapons, I have the Night Watch Kinetic Scout Rifle. This comes from the World Loot Pool. You can also get it from the New Light quest, or the Gunsmith is currently selling it this week. Then I'm using the Risk Runner, which is an amazing weapon for this Legend Lost sector. This comes from an exotic quest that you get shortly after starting the game. Then I'm using the Code Duello rocket launcher, which comes from Battlegrounds. This does solar damage, and solar damage is boosted by 50% in this Legend Lost sector. With that said, I did use Void subclasses because there are Void shields you need to take out throughout this Lost sector. As for necessary armor mods, I went with the Anti-Barrier Scout Rifle and Overload Submachine Gun mods. I would also highly recommend putting an arc damage resistance in your chest. If you can't do that, I would go with a solar damage resistance. As for the rest of my armor mods, I'll quickly show you each piece of armor, and if you need to see anything in more detail, just pause the video. Alright, that is it for my loadout. Now, let's get into it. Right off the bat, I want to mention that this is a Moon Lost sector, so it's naturally going to take longer than most of the other Legend Lost sectors. Alright, so right away here, we're going to try and bait some arc damage. As you can see with the perk on Risk Runner active, you can pretty much clear out the room pretty easily. When the barrier champion starts to drop, start shooting it immediately. At about 2/3 health, be ready to take its barrier down, and then you can rocket it. Then we're going to have a few more enemies here, nothing too serious. At this point, I like to stay up top here while I clear out some of these enemies down below. When those enemies are gone, I drop down and I prepare to shoot at this doorway. A couple drags pass in the front here that we can take out real quick. And then after that, I like to prioritize the snipers. And then I just try to pick off any enemies that I can. Throw a grenade on that servitor real quick. As you may have noticed, a barrier champion did spawn in the back. I'm going to let a bunch of the enemies push forward. That way I can take them out because they will no longer be shielded by that barrier servitor. Alright, when you feel like you're ready to take out the champion, you can head off to the right here. What I'm going to do is just primary until it uses the barrier. Should do it soon, so I'm going to be reloaded just in case. When it does, I'm going to rocket it. If you do have a grenade up, I do recommend throwing it right through this doorway, as there's a couple invisible enemies. They don't do arc damage, so you can't easily use a wrist runner on them. And we're going to have the Overload champion right here. And we finally made it to the boss room. Make sure your rocket's reloaded because there will be an Overload champion right away. And you can clear out the remaining enemies up front here. After you defeat most of them, you will see more enemies spawning in the back, and they'll push the front. After you've defeated most of those enemies, a heavy shank and a bunch of other shanks will spawn. Just going to clear out most of the easy enemies first. Then when you're ready to start the actual boss fight, you can take out this heavy shank. I am going to throw a grenade right at this door where the boss spawns. If you're on a Titan or Hunter, don't worry too much about it. I'm also going to super to get a little bit of damage off right away. Again, if you're on a Titan or Hunter, don't worry too much about it. I've done too much damage to the boss. Normally, if you do a little bit of damage, the boss will shift to the left side of the room. And then when you do more damage, it'll shift to the front side of the room. I made it completely skip that left-hand side. That's fine, though. Throw a grenade on the servitor, break the shield. Once I end up doing enough damage to it here, it will shift to the right side of the room. In order to do that, I think I'm just going to rocket it once. Should be shifting to the right side now. There should be a barrier champion coming out here as well. I'm going to try to take care of it before it even gets to that right side of the room. If you want to stay as safe as possible, you can just head to this left side and clear out some of the enemies that you see. Once you do enough damage to the boss in this phase, it will move back to its original location in the back of the room. I'm going to try to take it out right away. I missed. At this point, there will likely be some exploder shanks spawning. They'll try to push your location so you can just sit back and take them out as they come. Alright, now I'm going to throw a grenade on the boss. Or try to. I think I missed it, but that's fine. Since I'm out of rockets, I'll just primary it. And now if you want to take out any additional enemies, you can. Otherwise, you can just rush the chest. And there we have it. There's the Legend K1 Communion Lost Sector. And now I'm going to show you the boss fight on a Hunter and a Titan, just so you get an idea how to do it on those two classes. So here we are starting the boss fight again. We'll try to throw a grenade on the boss. Managed to get it. Right now, I've done enough damage where it'll move to the left side of the room like I mentioned in my Warlock Run. I'm not sure why that happened actually, that's kind of weird. But if you find yourself in the position where the boss is on the left side of the room like this, you can just come to the right side for a little bit more cover. Now there is a servitor over there with a void shield. I don't have my grenade up yet, so I'm going to try to rocket it. It may not work. It did not work. Alright, then I'm going to try to throw my grenade on it. Didn't get the grenade on it, but I got it on the boss, which was right next to it, so that works out. Alright, now we're free to damage the boss again. That should be enough to make it move to the front of the room, so I'm going to rotate to the back. I'm going to try to pick off any bothersome enemies. Alright, now it should move off to the left side of the room. As you can see, there's a barrier champion again. Okay. I did get the barrier champion though. If you die like I did, don't worry too much about it. If you have plenty of revives, you should be good to go. Boss is almost down. If the boss is down, you can rush your chest. If you have your super, it makes it really easy if you're afraid of dying to the ads. There we have it. Platinum completion done on a Titan. Now I'm going to move on to the boss fight on a Hunter. Alright, we are once again starting the boss fight here. I'm going to use my tether. I believe that should make the boss move to the front side of the room. Nope, I did enough damage in that short time while it was tethered for it to stay in the back side of the room this time. This is good that you're seeing different variations of the boss fight on each class. Now that champion has appeared, now that we've defeated enough enemies. So when it gets back there, what I'm going to do, use my primary to get it to use its barrier. After I break the barrier, I'm going to shoot it with a rocket. That should take out the boss in this instance. It may not always do that. Then when that champion's down, you're free to get the chest. So I'm going to go invisible and run up and grab the chest. Platinum completion done on the Hunter. As you can see, there's different ways that the boss fight can go depending on how much damage you manage to do right at the beginning. So I hope that this video helped you out, and if it did, remember to like and subscribe. I just want to thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.